Buenos dias from Mexico City. I've had a bit of a change of plans today. Today is a Monday, and I did not realize that almost all of the museums in Mexico City are closed on Mondays. So I had planned to do 2 museums today. Obviously, it's Monday, that has fallen through. So there is one other thing that was on my list of things to do that is open on Mondays. I'm sure there are other things, but this is the first thing that I came across that was in fact open, and it's an archaeological site. Tlatelolco. I'm terrible with pronouncing the Spanish words, and even worse at pronouncing the Nahuatl words. The Nahuatl, it's one of the indigenous languages of Mexico, and I'm just pretty much useless at pronouncing those words, so I do apologize. Pretty much all my videos are going to have that same issue. But we are going to that archaeological site. Now, it was about a half an hour walk from our Airbnb, which is nice because we get to see a new part of the city as well. So there is a university here, and there was a massacre of the students here in 1968. I mentioned earlier that there was a massacre here, and it was in this square actually, the Plaza de las Tres Culturas, where I am right now. And apparently it was the Mexican Armed Forces opened fire on students, and apparently 350 to 500 people died, with over 1,000 people injured. Mexico has such a turbulent history. I can't read this, but I'm assuming that this is a description of what happened on that day.
That's the date, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't actually find any exact information about what the students were protesting in the first place, although I'm sure that's a rabbit hole that you could go down for a long time. Wow, look at these stained glass windows.
Oh, it's like
that is cool.
many individuals look like.
Yeah, it looks like, stones in the river or something. This is called the Church of Santiago, and this version here, which is the second version, was built in 1610. Just seems so old. Not a single other tourist around, which is very unusual. We weren't able to get into the church, but Carl asked the security guard, and he thinks that he said it's open between the hours of 4 and 5 p.m. And we think because we do not speak Spanish very well. So we will see. That's in half an hour, so maybe we'll get lucky. It looks very cool, but I don't think this is even open either. It is in fact open. Cost 80 pesos per person. So we've got an hour and a half to look around here, and hopefully during that time this church will also open.
Ancient king.
That's a pretty good napping spot, actually.
Do you think it's real?
I don't think so. I think it's a replica. I think that the sunlight would deteriorate bones, but not completely sure. So the archaeological excavations are still ongoing here at the site and are actually pretty recently started in some areas. So only like in 1960 was it really started because this road was going to be built through the middle of it. So they found a whole bunch of new things and had to like do a bunch of excavations, and then ultimately I think they had to destroy a lot of the buildings there to make the road. But over here, you can see that they still have an active archaeological dig. Look at this map. You can see the place where we are now is just this little rectangle, but the whole site was all over here, obviously. Mostly farmland and residential areas, of course. All of Mexico City is built on top of the ruins. Which, of course, is how civilizations have evolved forever, as a matter of fact. So that's not completely unnormal. So the people that built this place in the first place also would build on top of the ruins of their own structures. And then with Spanish colonization, they did exactly the same thing. So this church here was specifically built here because it was an important spiritual place for the local people. They suspect that this altar was used for human sacrifice. And they've got a carving of a hand here. Does it say why there's a carving of a hand?
No. It says there is a carving in the rock in the shape of a human hand. And on the south end of it here, there was 170 skulls found.
Right, yes.
The 170 skulls that were found here had holes here, like antlers almost, but like there was like one rope or one pole believed to have gone through all the heads.
Oh yeah,
So
to display.
To display it or lay it down. Probably wrapped around the altar or something cool
maybe.
like that.
That'd be interesting to see what that could have looked like. Cool. I don't remember ever seeing these circular wells on top of the temples before in other archaeological sites I've been to. This looks cool. It's like a Indian linga kinda.
It is actually. Those tribes weren't in touch with each other.
I was gonna say that it's interesting how similar some of the things are across the world. Not that I think that they had contact, but
Definitely is. Do you think they used these, built these with basic tools? No way. It was
I
aliens.
think they. There's also a small museum on site that has some of the artifacts that were discovered on site. Yay, the church is in fact open. Good job on your Spanish skills. You did it.
Maybe.
Wow, this is cool. It's very rustic. These windows are the best. This door is so cool. It's ancient. I think it said 1610 that this one was built, right?
This door could be 400 years old.
It looks like it. That's cool. That ended up being a really successful walk afternoon to the archaeological site. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it again because I think that I'm pronouncing it wrong, but very interesting, especially how integrated it is with the city. Just the city and the modern buildings are basically right on top of it. You can just see so many layers of history in that one spot, from the actual ancient Aztec sites, and then the Spanish colonial church, also the modern massacre that was only 55 years ago. Continuous history in this area. And now we are headed back towards our hotel, and we're gonna find something to eat. We found a street restaurant and got some mango juices so far. How is it? Did you try it yet? Oh, you like it.
It's actually mango.
Why are you surprised?
I thought it was going to be like mango flavored.
Yeah.
But I get
it's thick.
thick.
Yeah. And we also got pozole, which is a soup.
I think it's a stew.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't ask what there's between a soup or a stew is in English. So.
Right. Here we go. Looks pretty picante to me.
It does look picante, that's why I asked.
Yeah, it does actually look more like a stew.
No, we bits of lettuce on it.